In this video, we're going to be showing you how to do a high bar squat. So the first question you're probably asking is, what is a high bar squat and how does it differ from a normal squat? Well, first thing you should know, there isn't just one type of squat. You've got high bar squat, you've got low bar squat, you've even got a front squat. So if Jade, without the bar, just quickly just jumps in the middle here and just demonstrates what for example, a high bar squat would look like without any load. Really what it is, it's the knees are the first things to move. So she's pushing her knees forward, keep coming forward, all the way down, knees forward, all the way. That's your high bar squat. See, she's leaning forward, which we'll fix in a minute by elevating her heels. A low bar squat on the flip side is where the hips move out. So she's gonna see her hips move out. So we're doing a high bar squat, not a low bar squat. So it might seem like insignificant, but to the lifting community, oh, it's very, very, very significant in terms of loading pattern and what it's using. So what I've just popped on the floor is basically a centimeter of rubber, which is just a cut off from gym flooring and mats. If you don't have a centimeter of rubber, there's a few options you can do to elevate the heels. You can get lifters, which are basically lifting shoes, which have an elevation. I recommend the Reebok. The Nikes are good too, depending on how tall you are. I think for shorter people, or you're probably better with Nikes. For taller people who've got long levers, you're probably better with the Reebok CrossFitters because they're not as high. The Nike shoes are quite high. Alternatively, you can get an off cut of rubber like we're using here, or you could even use like a 2.5 kilo plate if you're at a big box gym and don't want to get yourself a pair of lifters. Look, I do recommend getting some lifters if you are serious about your training. So, which most of the people watching this, I imagine, are. So we're going to pop that on the floor. That's going to allow Jade a better position, because really one of the focuses on a high bar squat is the hamstring covering the calf so you can't see daylight, and also the knees coming over the toes, which is more of an athletic type of movement in terms of the squat, especially for like tennis, soccer, football, or really anything where the knee is going to come out over the toe, which is pretty much every sport. This is how I would be getting people to squat probably 80% of the time. So Jade's going to go ahead and get in position, or 70 to 80% of the time, because the front squats would be a big part of that as well. So she's going to grab the bar. High bar, it's always hands as close as flexibility allows. So you want the hands to be quite close. She's going to get in, upper body, upper back is going to be nice and tight. So she's essentially resting that bar where the padding is of her traps. Now, another thing I want to note on this is you are never, ever, 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 ever to use one of those pads. Those pads, what they do, just for a sec, relax Jade, is what you could imagine is if I put my fist there, right? So the bar is now offset. If this was a pad, the bar's offset and it's not loading correctly. So the load is dissipated in the L4, L5, and it creates a lot of instability in movement. So you don't want to be using a pad. It's actually bad for the lower back because this bar is too far out. You need it close in the center of gravity, as close to the center of gravity as possible. So don't use a pad. It might hurt if it's the first time squatting, but get over it. It won't hurt. You'll develop some traps. Squat the right way. Don't use a pad, and also don't squat in a Smith machine because the spine is locked into position, and the spine at the top, as you come down, it wants to basically flare out a little bit, and because what happens above needs to correlate below. When you're in a Smith machine, the spine's essentially locked, and any load, what will happen is the pelvis will tuck under, and that load will be directed in one part there, exactly what Jade's doing, and that's where people can bulge discs and really hurt themselves. So I really do not recommend squatting in a Smith machine. So grab that, Jade, and if you need instruction, enlist the qualifications of a proper coach who understands what I'm talking about. And if you need a hand, obviously you can come here at Enterprise Fitness. So first thing that's going to move when Jade's doing this is her knees. So knees move forward first, and then also moving out. Knees are out and forward, out and forward, out and forward, out and forward. That's perfect, and she comes straight up. Notice something else that she's doing that is very, very crucial to this. Come down, Jade, and just kind of relax at the bottom. Completely relax. Yeah, she's not relaxing, right? She's not just letting her body flop. She stays nice and tight, okay? So back up. And let's do a better one. So stay nice and tight as you do this. So see, her chest is up nice and tall. She's pulling her lats down into her armpits. Everything is super, super tight, and back up. We also want a solid tempo when we're doing this. So 4, 3, 2, 1, power up. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1, power up. Good. One more. 4, 3, 2, 1, power up. There must be a tempo component to this. If the tempo's not there, you're simply doing it wrong. Do it with no tempo, Jay. Just drop into it. Okay, so what will happen when people drop into it is their pelvis will tuck under. Now, there are some powerlifters who will use basically the stretch reflex for a low bar squat. This isn't that. This is to prepare you. We are not talking about stretch reflex here. We are developing strength. This is the base of the pyramid that creates the athletic load. Do not try and do stretch reflex if you are not qualified or a decent squatter. You want to build a great base using this kind of squatting before you move into stretch reflex. I hope this video helps on your way to squatting. Obviously there are many different types of squatting, but this does cover the high bar squat directly. If you want more great technique tips that punch you in the face with information, do subscribe to us on YouTube. It's Enterprise Fitness. And if you need a hand with your training, reach out to us. It's www.melbournepersonaltrainers.com. Thanks for watching.